All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first day of the Manila PTG for the Z cycle. So yeah, it's good to have you all here. Hopefully, we are going to have a good week ahead of us during this PTG. I did share the schedule here. It is in this link. Let me share this on Zoom as well. Yep. If you don't have the link yet, you can follow the discussion there too. But yeah, if you haven't added your name to the attendees list yet, please do so. We do have some names here, and yeah, if you haven't done that yet, please add. We do have like a lot of topics to cover over this week. Please check the schedule if you haven't done that yet, and then we can chat during those about those topics over the week. And yeah, we're going to have like good sessions on this. Okay, so the first thing today we are having, as always, we had like in the past PTG, in the past PTGs, and something that's worked really nicely for us was the Manila Yoga Cycle Community Retrospective. So yeah, that's the thing we are starting with today. Let me share the Etherpad with you as well. Okay, so yeah, the retrospective is a good opportunity for us to look back on the cycle before or the yoga cycle and see how things went for us and have an opportunity to discuss what are the things we are able to improve during the next cycle, or discuss even things that went well, things that we like can do in the next one, so we can have more interactions or like general things to improve. So yeah, I see some topics added here, but yeah, let's take a few minutes if you haven't yet to fill in this list and add a few more things before we actually start going through this list. So yeah, if you haven't done yet, please add your items for what went well and what needs improvement, or any discussion item you want to bring up, and then we can get back to this like in 5 minutes. How does that sound? Do you think 5 minutes is good, or should we add a bit more of time to this?
I think 5 minutes sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, cool.
It works. Thanks.
All right, so 5 minutes then, we will be back to discussing things. So if you do have something to add on something you want to share feedback, please do so. Okay, so yeah, we had a few minutes to fill in these topics. So I think we can start going through the items we have here. So yeah, this starts with a list of the action items we had during the last cycle. So yeah, we mentioned about the hackathon being a lot of fun and that we should be repeating that during yoga. Unfortunately, we didn't have that much time to replicate the hackathon in yoga. We would like love to, but we basically didn't have much time to do that. But the idea is that we have another hackathon for this that cycle, so we can cover some more parts of the CLI, the OpenStack CLI. We can share more details on that during the OpenStack CLI session later in the week. But yeah, it's one of the things we do intend to do in the next few months. Okay, so continue stale bug review efforts, tightening the definition of the stale bugs. Yeah, this had some progress. It still like need uh, some things. I mean, we can usually always do some things to improve on this, but yeah, there has been some progress on this, and also repeating review and tutorial collab review since we have new contributors in at each cycle. We did do that during the past cycle where we had some time to review some bugs and promote some sessions, even the collaborative review sessions and some other activities where we are able to share some knowledge and to share like some tips on reviews and ask some questions directly to the maintainers. So yeah, this is also something we kept doing. And so for bug fix reviews, repeat collab reviews, and try gene tracking session, yeah, this continued as well. But yeah, it's always good to have because it has been like a bunch of progress on these areas, and yeah, it was a good effort during this cycle.
I
And
think one thing about the sorry for the interruption.
no worries.
On the stale bug stuff, we did have some criteria that we defined early on last cycle. I guess we just didn't get around to implementing it. So I think Vida is going to bring it up again later this week. And I mean, the idea here is making sure that all of these old bugs that are no longer relevant are going to disappear. Either because nobody cares about the feature functionality that was asked for, or there's nobody working on some obscure driver that or some configuration that was asked of in the bug, or the releases that these pertain to are no longer maintained and stuff. So there are some I mean themes that we're seeing in these bugs. But we didn't get around to implementing some sort of tooling and expiring these bugs. And part of the reason is I think very early on in the yoga cycle, we kind of explored Launchpad's own expiry mechanism. And that doesn't really work with the way we want to do this, which is set like a proper time and let the bug expire over multiple stages and not just like abruptly disappear. So more on this, I guess, at the end of the week with Vida.
Thanks, Gautam. Yeah, so I just wanted to emphasize that we sort of did start this stale bug approach. The first bug squash was, the list was actually a list of all the stale bugs that we wanted to prioritize to look at. So the process started, and there was enough, I think, resistance that made us think twice about bulk processing the stale bugs. So that's why I wanted to, in this PTG, as Gautam mentioned, wanted to introduce this again, this automated approach to set the bugs for expiry. But if anybody would like to look at the first bug squash list that's on our agenda later, those are the bugs that we approached during this cycle. So Just wanted to let you guys know that there was a combination of things going on. Hopefully we can improve it. And I did list this in the things that could improve. I can talk about it a little bit more. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so going to the next item on the list, we have some stats for the yoga release for the Manila project. It was a good cycle, lots of commits, some good new functionalities for us. So yeah, congrats to everyone for the commits purged, and also thank you for to the reviewers for like helping us to get those changes through. Yeah, so starting now with the regular schedule for the retrospective, the items for what went well. So Manila bug squashes and collab reviews. We should keep doing those. Yes, those are really productive for us, and we usually get some positive feedback from those events. So it's always a good thing for us to have those events and try to engage more the community and get some feedback and get to talk with people more and like work as a community to get some more bugs fixed during a bug squash, for example. So yeah, and the collab reviews also help all of the reviewers to understand better changes, and we also have the chance to get like the change authors to explain things for us, and then we can already ask them questions on the fly. It's a good thing for us, and it always helped us during the code review process. So yeah, it's good. We have been doing this for a few cycles, and the output's always positive. So it's a nice thing to continue doing in the cycles to come. Something else to add about this? I don't know if you guys want to add anything else.
I guess one of the things that I did wrong, which is in the yoga cycle, was underestimate this thing of December, right? And end of November. We all just like disappeared for right reasons. There being holidays and stuff. That was kind of the timeline for the previous hackathon. So that's kind of what went wrong with the events perspective. But as I say that, we did do the bug squashes, like you said, and the collab reviews. So I'm still very happy about those. The hackathon this time, though, I would strongly suggest we do this right away, like maybe by the end of this month or something, or very early in March, in May, so that we don't run into the later part of the cycle and the things that come along.
Yeah, I agree. If we have the hackathon happening earlier in the cycle, it can help even like for more people to participate, and we won't have like contributors that are like working on 1,000 things at the same time and also trying to get like some of their features merged for feature fees or like some bugs merged like at the end of the cycle. So yeah, now I agree with trying to push the hackathon for the beginning of the cycle, and then we can get more we can try to get more traction on that. Cool. Next on the list is some new contributors. We do have some students working with us in the Manila Y, some students from the NDSU, and a few more other contributors. So yeah, it's something that we hear all across the communities, that this Manila community is very welcoming for new contributors, and we do have some good teachers for them, and Manila is a good project to onboard people. So yeah, it's good for us, and we also get to get like some enhancements for the project as well. So yeah, it's cool. Starting with the what needs improvement items. First on the list is reviews from different affiliations on patches. Gotham, do you want to add something about this?
Yep. So over a period of time, as people leave and consolidation of stuff has happened, etc., we've lost the ability to have this affiliation diversity on reviews, and that's really important for us to stay completely neutral around things. We don't really want one vendor or one distribution dominating the project. And innately, I know the reviewers, the core maintainers that we have, at least each one of us takes a lot of pride in making sure that we're thinking neutrally around every patch that comes in, and we're not talking about thinking through our employers um, you know perspectives, especially if it's going against the community guidelines, for instance. So, which is kind of why we have that support statement even on the contributor doc, that we would like to maintain diverse affiliation for the whole maintainership aspect of this project. But that's gone down quite a bit in the yoga cycle. I mean, for one, and I say this to my friends at NetApp all the time, that this is probably the first time since this project was started that we don't really have a core maintainer from NetApp. Um, and this is, I'm not saying NetApp is somewhat, of a special case here. This includes all kind of storage vendors, for instance, and we've lost that over a period of time. So it's time to probably, engage more with the vendors, making sure that they have their representation on this thing, so you kind of get the buy-in as well as part of the aspect of diversity in terms of reviewers.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And I think like we had for at least for the yoga cycle, we had like a critical situation with one particular feature that wasn't at our pipeline at first. So when we realized, we basically focus everyone on on a single activity, and that kind of has driven away us from like a being able to participate more on reviews. Is basically our fault. We want to continue collaborating, and I think that for Zed, this is going to occur for sure. This is something that we understand that the necessity and why it's important. It's part we want to have to continue having our patches merged, so it's important to also collaborate, and it's what we are going to do for the next cycle. We at the NetApp team, we have enough folks to split reviews and be able to frequently participate. So it's more like a kind. I would say that it was kind of like a isolate situation. Then we are for sure fixing for that. So you folks should expect more reviews on our end for the next cycle. We will try to
Yeah.
bring.
Thank you. That's actually pretty cool. I like that word of confidence, and this goes beyond NetAppers. I like to pick on you guys because you're here, but we are in we do see patches from other vendors, for instance, and stuff. So it's possible, since this is recorded, and if folks are listening to this later, I mean, if it needs reminding. If everybody on the core team has at some point or the other mentored somebody else to join the core team, and this is something we're very happy to do. So if you're interested to help us with reviews, start doing them. And if you have any questions or require for us to just have a one-on-one chat with any of us, please do, and we'll be very happy to engage and to kind of set you off on the thing, saying this is how we would like to have a maintainer be, and maybe then you can then evaluate that, incorporate that, and make sure I guess you can join the maintainers team that way. And this has happened quite a lot before, so but then I still think, since we have new people joining us all the time, this needs reminding. Get in touch with any core maintainer, and they might just point you to Carlos, but he'll delegate.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. We'll be glad to help you through the path of core if it's from your will. And yeah, just reach out to us and we will help you out. And yeah, another point on this, like one way to address this is to have like assignees per patches in some changes. So yeah, now there are some changes we do that, but I think I don't know if like the idea of this comment is just to add some assignees for like each change we have. So that way the reviewers would get an email from the change, and then like we would be asking them to review the changes. But yeah, I don't know if you guys like this kind of idea, or what do you think about that? Or like if I'm missing something on this comment too, please comment on this.
So we used to do this also since like a few cycles, I think. I don't know if it's dwindled down, but each of us just add somebody else, and we also have the review etherpad. That's pretty good. At least I know, you know, if you've been waiting for a patch for too long, you're like at this point going like, what's he saying? But I feel it, looking at the wider picture, the amount of things that actually get reviewed and done, it's the etherpads help quite a bit. And so we ask for assignees to volunteer out there. So that's one other thing. But I don't know how many people have get it emails coming right into their inbox. Maybe you've filtered them out. So I've noticed that when I've added somebody, that's, you know, they've not looked at it. And I think I won't blame them. I guess it's because there's just too much noise from Garrett. So how, I guess, yes, I added that part, but I was trying to ask, how would you like to be interacting here? You know, doing what are we doing wrong? Could we improve that? Like, you know, anybody that's not noticing a patch that needs somebody's help, how do we alert somebody else? And that goes to the next point as well about us picking up stuff ourselves. That's the review discipline thing. So if Tom Barron was here, he would call it discipline. So I kind of used his words. And to give you a preview of that, that was literally saying, I have, as somebody that's reviewing code, have some sort of a calendar at least that tells me, okay, the first thing I do, you know, before lunch or something, I go through at least 5 patches a day. Um, and I kind of do this regularly so that I know that you know, that's just my contribution to keeping the review queues short. And if somebody has responded to my reviews, I kind of make sure that I get back within X amount of time, right? And that X can be like 1 day, 24 hours, or a couple of days kind of thing, so that you don't leave a contributor hanging for reviews and stuff. And each one of us has different slips at different points of time, which is kind of why we have more than one assignee on these patches. But this is the general thought process here. And I guess the wider discussion in this point is, what more can we do? What can we do this something, you know, can we do something differently?
Hey, Gautam, can we say that, you know, a partial review, maybe a review that is not complete? Because sometimes, personally, I struggle with that, is that I see a patch that is super big and I try to be very detailed on the feedback I'm providing. And that I noticed that basically just blocks me for doing more reviews. Like I only focus on one. Is a partial review better than no review? What do you think about that?
I I think it's better, and I'm not claiming. I mean, if you're asking an open-ended question in the review, please do so. Like, I mean, many a times, I mean, I've seen other people do this as well. We just do a quick glance, and I'm famous for not looking at the unit tests at all until we go through all the main code for like multiple cycles and stuff. So that's a partial review, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so I think that's okay. Are there any complaints? Like, do you want reviewers to be more thorough, from the get-go?
Oh no, this is just a personal kind of, question. And I think that it may be the same story for other people, that sometimes it's like you go through, reviews and you see an easy one and you can get that done quickly. But when you see one that is, I don't know, it's a patch that is 1,000 lines code, it's like,
Yeah.
you try to do it all together and that's just not possible. It's not that,
No, yeah.
you are not a good reviewer, but it's just hard. So perhaps trying to commit with the smaller chunks of, okay, maybe the first pass I do is focusing on a couple of things and rely on, other reviewers to actually collaborate to get,
Yeah.
a good review, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I think partial reviews are absolutely fine also when you think this is the part of the code that I know best, and I will look at this part, and the other person's that's looking at it may probably cover up where I'm not looking. So I think that's fine, Victoria. For one, I know Felipe can write 10x faster code than I can read, so I do partial reviews with him all the time. So
All right, nice. I also like the idea of, having people assigning to specific reviews. Maybe this is not something we are going to do for all reviews because some stuff is just small and it's like, it's not that it's going to demand us too much attention. Like we can review it easily. But for patches that are big or that are related to a specific storage drivers that maybe, you need to have some context in order to do a good review, or some other resources, having assignees allow us to keep focus on what we want to deliver. I like the idea very much. And I know that we have been doing this for some time. I think it's something that we should keep doing.
agreed. And tagging on to that point, if there is a patch that focuses on a driver and we don't really understand the intricacies of the storage system that's associated with the driver, for instance, the maintainers are the best reviewers for this. So that goes, I guess, without saying that it gives somebody else more confidence to review the patch if there are a bunch of plus ones, or some review churn coming from the maintainers themselves. And I say this, like, for example, Victoria works on this FFS driver. She's a maintainer, and I review her code, and we both review each other's code on this FFS driver, and give any other reviewer that doesn't know the intricacies of FFS better confidence, right?
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. Yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, it basically matches with one of the ideas we brought here, which is, yeah, the collab reviews are usually nice for that. We can get like a general idea and also get the opportunity to ask like directly to the author of the change. So yeah, they worked out nicely in the past, and it's good that we continue doing those. So it's easier for the reviewers that are not familiar with a part of the code. Also, like, it helped us a lot during the RBAC changes in the past, because many of us didn't know the context, and then we had a few sessions on this, and then yeah, we had like a positive output on that, and it was a good learning for all the people involved on that. So yeah, it's cool. And another thing, like I see a suggestion here for this review discipline, is about like a festival of extra small reviews, similar to what happens in other projects. I've seen some of these happening already, but yeah, it's a question I'd like to ask you. Like, I see this was proposed here, but do you all think we would like benefit from a festival of extra small reviews, and like we would gather for like some time over like we could have try it once if it's like a good thing for everybody, and then we can see how it works out. We can get some stats, and then we can try to decide. But if like we are going to continue doing this, but I mean, yeah, I would like to get the like more people's opinion on this. If like we are not generating too many events on this, or if it's going to add like much more things to the people's agenda. So yeah, I'd like to ask some opinions on this.
Carlos, thanks for bringing this up. So we did actually have our own sort of festival of reviews. We didn't call it that, but one of our bug squashes, that's all the content was. It was all the bugs in progress with some 24, bugs that we wanted to encourage people to code review, and we were able to like post 10 of them. So we did it, but not under such title. If it was just one of the bug squashes, and we shared with the community what the theme was. But if the idea is, changing the name so it actually is clear that that's what we're doing, definitely open to suggestions. Would you guys like to do this in future instead of calling it a bug squash with a theme? Just name it as such. Like
That's a really cool point, and I totally forgot to mention it in the what went well part, because just now as you're saying it, it reminded me that we started doing this in the yoga cycle, right? We looked at all the in progress bug fix patches, and we started adding them to the bug squash, so we can just close on them. That was a great idea. Yeah, that was like a review jam, and things move faster. It's easy to just like lose track of a patch because it's not popping up in the in Gerrit, but it was nice to have that focus.
If I'm kind of gathering that maybe instead of calling everything a bug squash, which is an umbrella, if it helps people kind of categorize it, we could add a clarifier, like this bug squash is festival of reviews extra small, or general reviews, or this bug squash is stale bug, attempt to reduce stale bug, just to clarify that that's what we're doing. So in future, if the context goes away, the label is there reminding us that this was a focus of the bug squash. We currently put everything under the bug squash umbrella is what I'm saying. So we can always add details if
and we can try this. I like this too. So we can try this. Maybe the next bug squash can be back from that review jam thing.
Awesome.
And see how that goes.
Good suggestion. Yeah, that way it makes us feel better, to know where our focus was and what we accomplished. So great suggestion.
Regarding bug squashes, do we want to do like more than one in a cycle? Do we want to like alternate between like stale bug squash versus, any other variation of these feature festivals that the review festivals that we might have? Because I mean, we did mention before that we kind of want to do it early in the cycle so that we don't start cramming things in at the end, especially around feature freeze. So how would we plan around that while still allowing people time to work on their own smaller projects and features and things like that?
So we are kind of doing that right now. Like this last cycle, we had 2 bug squashes, and our strategy was to so M1 bug squash, for example, we focus on M1 target bugs as early as possible, way before feature freeze, and try to make those changes early in the cycle. So that's been our approach. And then the second one has been, like I said, either for in-progress bugs or stale bugs or secondary bugs. We haven't left the critical bugs towards the end of the cycle. That's been Gotham's strategy and our strategy from the beginning. But Schedule-wise, we try to do 3 in a cycle, and that was too much. But we've pretty much held steady on 2 bug squashes with the focuses that I mentioned.
Yeah, I think having one around M1, I don't think there are any complaints. The one that happens after M3 is was mostly based on the feedback that, it would be nice for us to not, lose the focus between the M3 and the first RC candidate. And whatever was in that bug squash it was almost always bring your own bugs, because people were probably testing what happened in the cycle and found some bug and wanted to fix it before RC. That was like the theme over there, and things just get added in because throughout these bug squashes we also like the opportunity to show and tell and get some new contributors to submit bug fixes and stuff like that. So it's from what I saw, at least it wasn't too busy and it wasn't taking focus away, because it was ultimately before, I mean, the bug fix period officially, between M3 and RC1.
Yeah. And we are having a dedicated bug section session later on in the week. I encourage everybody to bring discussions, detailed discussions there, because I think the idea was to sort of talk high level today during the retrospective and then talk detailed. So that'll be awesome if we have more discussions, and then we can write action items that we can follow. That'd be awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Vida. All right. Thank you, folks, for the suggestions. We can try this out during over the cycle, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a good idea. And the bug squashes usually work out for us. So yeah, we can continue doing this and have like the focus of if each bug squash announced as we kind of had in the past. All right. Next in the list, it's Manila UI. Yeah, Manila UI, as I mean, it's been a point of talking for us for some time already, where basically we do not have like some level of feature parity with the Manila UI, not like as much as we would like to have. And sometimes we hit like into issues, and now we are currently in the 246 version, if I recall correctly. And yeah, our the Manila API reached like 270 already. So yeah, it's a bunch of features to add, and we will need to like take a look at this parity thing and go over the list of features that we will need to add, so we can continue to get progress on the Manila UI. Something else you would like to add to the Manila UI topic? I think Victoria.
Hey, yeah, so I just want to add that, yeah, it needs improvement as it states for, well, what the section we are talking about now. But also I need to say that we have people working on it, and it definitely, like, I really expect from this PTG to take some action items that will make it easier and better. We are far back from the support that we expect to have, but well, we are moving forward with some changes. So we just need to keep doing that. And if anybody is interested on contributing to the AI, just wanted to let you know that there is a lot of room for you to work on it. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for pointing it out. We did have some progress already, but I mean, we are quite far from that. So yeah, over the week, we will have like a session on the Manila UI too. So yeah, everybody's invited to participate on that too, and then we can chat more about that. Next one, encourage code review participation. Yeah, it's also like one it basically sums up with the other two topics we discussed, which are basically the reviews, the review thing we discussed. So yeah, it's I mean, it's nice to encourage that, and we have been trying to do that during over the cycles, with creating new events and inviting new contributors to participate on these events, or basically like other contributors to share their thoughts like on how they do the reviews. And I mean, all of the like things they think about. So yeah, someone else would like to add something about the encouraging code review participation thing?
I just wanted to add something there, Carlos. So like collab reviews have been really awesome. A lot of encouragement there. But as an example, the RBAC for the SRBAC code changes that we made, we did have a collab review and with good participation. However, the patch, we were hoping to get it pushed in the last merges, and that didn't happen. And now I think it's a little more important to focus on it because there's some more changes related to RBAC that's going to happen in this cycle. So I open to suggestions, what else we can do, maybe a follow-up collab review or something to encourage even more, because maybe we can set a window for critical merges to happen, something that the community will be open to. But the RBAC was an example of one that didn't necessarily have reviews after the collab review session. So how can we improve that is the question here.
Fair point. Did we? Yeah, I think we wrapped up collab review that time and kind of went into RC mode. Did we have the reviewers assigned by any chance?
I don't believe so. I think the idea was after the collab review,
yeah, we'd get some attention to this.
Yeah, at that time. Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
That'll be on us, myself, or actually, yeah. Now Carlos has a new Z cycle Etherpad as well, so we can add that there and try to get it moving.
Yeah,
and we can make some noise during the meetings.
Oh, that would be perfect. Great idea. Thanks, Gotham.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Thanks. Thank you all. Okay, next one, debug backlog plus the new approaches. Vida, you covered this like a little bit, and we do have the session on this as well over the week. So yeah, something else you would like to add?
No, that's all, Carlos. In the gaining time here. You can hear later. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, integration with other services, for example, Cola and OpenStack Expo. Victoria, something else you'd like to add?
Yeah, it's just actually I don't know if there is much we can do, but just mentioning that we have some interactions with other teams in the past about Manila. They do have some integration with Manila, and sometimes it happens that people join well, their channels, and they want to get Manila, and they don't really know how to get things, or the configuration options and so on. I'm talking about, for instance, Cola or OpenStack Ansible. We have been addressing a couple of questions for them. I know that, well, myself, I am in those channels, and also I know that Gotham and Tom and some other people from the community are, and it's just it's kind of nice to be there, because we actually get an understanding on how users are using Manila and what kind of use cases they have, and also orienting them, help us to understand what kind of things they are missing from their deployments and how to improve the software we are shipping. So I don't expect people to be attending and paying attention to those channels all the time. But if you are interested about this, definitely something we can look into. I don't know about other projects that might have, this kind of situation. That's it.
Yeah, thanks. I've seen the question for Cola as well, and yeah, it's if we are presenting or like checking those interactions, we will be able to see like some deployments, and also, as I mentioned, the parts where we are lacking, because like people are kind of sharing some things of their deployment, and then we would be able to see where we are lacking. At the top of my head, I didn't think of another service. We've seen that recently, but there might be more. And yeah, it's good to be on those kinds of channels. If you haven't, if you aren't there, I mean, it's nice to. And also, I think one of these questions about Cola popped up in the OpenStack Discuss mailing list as well. But yeah, it's an opportunity for us to check where we are lacking on documentation and what we can do to improve, to have people doing the deployments and like not suffering with documentation or getting stuck with something that might go wrong. Cool. All right. We only have a few minutes, so let's go to what went really bad. The first and the worst of all is this cycle is sad and not Zorilla. So yeah, it's kind of a bummer.
Who said?
Yeah.
No, just kidding. No, I mean,
Who said
nothing
that?
stops you from calling it Zorilla cycle, and we kind of blatantly do it with the TC anyway, so that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we are in the Zorilla land. We are allowed to. So yeah. Nice.
For
Yeah.
what it's worth, I think it was a regression that we didn't get to vote on the names. But they're fixing that for the A cycle. The community gets to vote for it again. So as opposed to, for whatever happened from the last few cycles, the TC got to pick those names. So, yep.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, we will get back to you. Now
We really pushed back though. So I'm really proud of this community. Like all of them, we all went to vote and push for getting Sorella for the series release. Didn't happen, but we all try, and that's something we also need to mention.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Next thing that went really bad is either calc. Yeah, over the events we had, we saw that either calc was really unstable. So sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. And the thing is, we do not have like an alternative for the same purpose, and that's open source, and we can like share with the community. So it's kind of bad. But yeah, EdreCalc at the moment it's what we have, even though like it sometimes it does not help us. I mean, sometimes we are just needing it, or we are like about to start a meeting or going over like a list of bugs in a bug squash, for example, and it just crashes. We start like getting server errors. So yeah, it's kind of bad. And also the last times we tried to use Jitsi, they were not really positive, because like some people were having problems hearing, and then sometimes like I was in a meeting, for example, and then at the middle of the meeting I stopped hearing everything, and like people continued talking, so I needed to be reconnecting, and I think that happened to a lot of folks as well. So we usually start a meeting in Jitsi, then we go over to like another platform. I mean, it would be nice if we have those issues fixed, because like Jitsi is open source, and we also have like a shared Etherpad there. So it's like two things we use in the community in the same place. And yeah, it will be kind of productive. But last interactions we had with this, they were not pretty positive. Okay, something else to add on what went really badly? I don't know if you guys would like to add something.
How about losing Tom Barron?
Oh, yes, that one
That's
hurts.
definitely
Yeah.
bad.
They couldn't keep him.
Yeah, that one hurts. Yeah, all right. So we have 2 minutes and we have a few items in the discussion list. I don't know if you guys want to continue. I don't know if like there is a session after this in the call. Let me check. Yeah, we are the last last project to use this room today. So yeah, I don't know if you guys would like to stay or if you'd like to wrap up, and then we can bring these discussion items over like the weekly meetings or I mean.
Yeah, well, there's just, I think, a couple of things in those discussion items. The others we've already discussed. We've discussed the community events. We've discussed the whether collaborative use useful, and we are going to talk about the bug closure strategy with FIDA later in the week. The other two things I think were code walkthroughs and avoiding blind rechecks. I think I can just make a small statement about the code walkthroughs. I actually was thinking of this in terms of, I guess I saw this being done with this FFS community recently, and initially this was a thing even in the Kubernetes community. We just have like a meeting where somebody's going through the code as it is. It kind of gives you, somebody who's a contributor, a deeper perspective of about the code beyond reading the code and reading the inline documentation or whatever else there is. It's just somebody taking you through the code. I don't know if you wanted to, if that's of interest to the community here. And if you want to pursue that in the Z cycle, I can volunteer to do one of them.
Yeah, cool. That's a nice idea. I think it would be really helpful for contributors to have that. We can schedule one of those. Let's put that in our in one of the action items for us. So yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Right. And yeah, the last item we have on this list was added by me, and it was something that was brought up today during the TC meeting. And apparently there are some issues like when with Azure, when there are like lots of changes running at the same time, and the TC was realizing that there were lots of blind rechecks to the jobs. And blind rechecks, I mean that sometimes people don't even like some contributors, they will get their changes with like an error on CI, and they wouldn't check like what was really the output or what was the issue, or if it was something related to their code, and they would recheck right away without like even like specifying one of the reasons for doing so. So yeah, so the TC basically is starting to spread a word to try to create like a new culture of taking a look at the failures, and as soon as you are ready to hit recheck, just try to do it in a way, for example, recheck and then mention a job that failed, for example, tox pep8, and then mention the reason why we are rechecking, for example, tox pep8 failed due to node breakage, for example. And then in that way, I mean, we wouldn't have those blind rechecks, and we sometimes when the CI is like entirely broken, or there are like lots of changes running in the CI. There are some hypervisors having OOM issues. So avoiding like lots and lots of rechecks would help the other jobs to do not break as well, only because like the hypervisors are completely full, and we are consuming a lot of resources, and not doing blind rechecks as well would help us to think twice about the rechecks, and ensure that we will recheck only when there's an action need for that. So yeah, that was the thing about the blind rechecks. I don't know if you guys would like to ask something, or to add something else.
I see this less of a problem with Manila projects, but I could be biased. But you're right. Like whenever you recheck, try to also mention why you're rechecking. That is helpful, definitely. Like you
Sounds
noticed something. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, so we are 3 minutes over. We went through this list. I don't know, someone would like to add something else. It's like the floor is yours. Okay, I would take that as a no. So yeah, thank you all for joining today. It was a good session. I will go over this and try to capture some more action items for us. And yeah, it was a good start to our PTG week. The next session we have is going to be on Wednesday at 14 UTC, if I recall correctly. Yeah, 14 UTC. And then we will be starting with a discussion on theme provisioning, and we will be followed by a NetApp migration topic, and the automatic support for snapshot creation and removal, and some other topics to follow on that day. So yeah, thank you all for joining today and for the discussions we had during this retrospective, and see you all in the meeting on Wednesday.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Carlos.
Thanks, everyone. See you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.